It's me, Leo!
Ow, my ears.
Dr. Evans, come on! Walk, no, run to the light! You have got to come back to me! See, Dr. Evans has a split personality. She thinks she's somebody called Patty.
Leo, Hattie is not Marlena's alter. That's her doppelganger.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where I'll be doing another episode recap for today's Days of Our Lives, August 20, 2024. So we see where Hattie is in the square and she's just going over her lines, but she just doesn't seem to get it right. So at this point, Johnny comes over. Johnny's like, "Grandma, what you doing here?" So she's like, "Grandma, do I look that old to be somebody's grandma?" So he's like, he was taken aback because he's like, the resemblance between her and Marlena is really 100% identical. They could be real twins. So he didn't take as long as Leo to recognize that it's actually Hattie. So he's like, I heard you were working on Body and Soul and all of that, right? So I'm Marlena's grandson and I'm the director there and all that, right? So she's like, good. So you can help me with my lines and all of that. So he looked at the lines and the script and he's like, I'm a director. So directors and actors don't really go together when it comes on to like revising the script and all that. So you would have to go to the writer. So she's like, I'm barking up the wrong tree. So she heads over to Leo's place, right? So we see Leo at his hotel room and he is reading a book about DID because he believes that Marlena has it and he has to find a way to get through to her and some way how to help her, right? So as he was doing that, he gets a knock at the door and it's Hattie, right? So Hattie is like, I could use your help. So Leo is like, yeah, you do. So this was a really funny scene again between the two actors. So he was she needed help with the script and all of that. And, she's asking, did you get a job yet? So he's like, not yet. I'm still waiting. So I already applied for some other jobs so that, I have a backup plan in case. So anyways, the conversation went to how he's just suspicious of her and she's just acting weird. She's not dressing how she used to. So she's like, I'm confused. Like, I am who I am. Like, what do you mean? So he blurts out Dr. Evans, like, something's wrong with you. And I think you have DID. So she's like, is that an illness? And next thing, I'm not Dr. Evans, I'm Hattie Adams. So he's like, yeah, I knew this was gonna happen. This is probably your alter. So she's just confused as what is going on, but she's just adamant that she's not Marlena or nothing. So he's just trying to shake her. He literally takes her and shakes her like, come back or run back to the light, come back to being Marlena. So it was a really funny scene between the two of them. So we see Stephanie and Alex at the pub, right? And they're just talking about how they had a good time the other day, just breaking plates and releasing a lot of stress and tension, given that they've been through some events lately, right? So anyways, Stephanie has her laptop open and she's working on a proposal for this new job that she's seeking. So Alex gets up, he's about to go, but then he accidentally spills some champagne or water on Stephanie's laptop and it crashed. It short-circuited. So he's apologetic about it. He's like, sorry, let me make this up to you and let me buy your lunch or your drink. And she's like, don't worry about it. It's an accident. I'll just have to wing it. I'll just have to talk and without my notes. So at some point they touched and it was a moment between the two of them, and then Bonnie and Justin come in, and you know how Bonnie is, right? So Alex was like, nothing. I just spilled water on Stephanie's laptop, and Stephanie really needed it for this new job that she's applying for and all of that, and I'm really sorry again about it. So she's like, it's an accident. I understand. I'll just have to do it, the regular way and just wing it, right? So she went about her business, and then leave Bonnie, Justin, and Alex to talk, right? So Bonnie, as her usual intrusive self, right? She just, begins to talk about, what did I just see over there? So he's like, nothing really. I just spilled some water on her laptop and that was it. So she's like, you guys were an island before, She just was like pushing them together and all of that. And, he's like, no, we're just friends, just stay out of it, right? So she, she's like, I know, but I just want to see you happy and all that. She just doesn't know when to quit, when to just just step out of people's personal life, right? So anyways, Justin is like, speaking of happy, I have something that will really make you happy. So the marriage to Teresa was annulled. So he's just overjoyed about it. He was like, imagine the marriage was just over in 30 minutes, right? But he's just satisfied. He's over the moon about it, that it's like it didn't happen. So at this point, she's like, maybe you and Stephanie can give it a run. He's like, and let me just go, right? So she's like, all right, I stay out of it, right? So Bonnie gets a notification from Abe and Kate that she got hired for the job to play the role, right? So she's looking over the contract and she's like, let me just e-sign this quickly before it's not it's not mine anymore. So Justin's like, wait before you sign it, right? I don't really think you should just go ahead and do it. And I agree with him. I guess the lawyer in him is talking, right? So he's like, let me negotiate a better deal for you, right? So she's like, you willing to do that for me? I said, I will do anything for you at this point. So he is willing to negotiate better terms for her, because I think she didn't really get a good pay grade on it and all that. So she was just excited to just get the role, but he was like, nah, you deserve better than that. So I'm gonna work this out for you, right? So we see Kate and Abe, they're at the studio or office or whatever. So she's looking over the script that Leo write, right? And, he's like, what do you think about it? I think it was terrific. So she's like, it's melodramatic. So he was about to discard it. But then she's like, no, this is what the soap opera needs. I think it's ingenious and the storylines are looking good. So I'm definitely going to go over there to offer him the job in person, right? So at this point, Stephanie comes over and she's like, I hope I'm not late for the meeting. So she's like, no, you're good. I'm gonna go out on an errand, so Abe will take care of you for the job, right? So we see Stephanie and Abe, right? And Stephanie's like, I'm sorry, I don't have my notes or a proposal. My laptop got short-circuited. And, Abe is like, no worries about that. I see what you did for Paulina's campaign and I think you're terrific. You're hired. So she's like, I'm excited to really work with you and Kate to revive Body and Soul. So she saw some headshots of Hattie and she thought it was Marlene at first, but, and Bonnie. So she's like, do they have any experience with talking to the press? So he's like, no, none of them do. So she's just excited to work with them and kind of refine them in a bit, right? So we go on to the next scene. So we see Johnny and Chanel at the square, right? So Johnny tells Chanel about his run-in with Hattie and how Hattie and Marlena really look similar. It's just the difference in personality, So they begin talking about their day-to-day life. And now that Johnny has a job, she's kind of missing him and she's kind of envious of him because at this point she hired enough staff for a bakery and is basically on running by itself. So she really doesn't have nothing much to do. So she's just thinking of branching out, getting a creative outlet. So, he's like, you were very good with poetry and all that. So, she's just there at a crossroads just thinking what else can she be doing outside of running a bakery, right? So Johnny runs off to the studio because it's time for work and it leaves Chanel there, right? All right, so we see Abe and Stephanie and Johnny. So Johnny was, just surprised to see his cousin Stephanie there. So she's like, yeah, she works there as PR for Body and Soul. So he's, happy for her, and he's like, yeah, I'm the director here. So she's like, I know you will definitely do well. So she went about her business and leave Johnny and Abe to talk, right? So Johnny was looking over the script, and he's like impressed with everything, because at this point they're still looking for actors to fill out some more roles. So then he mentions the idea of Chanel working there. So Abe was like, Chanel? So my stepdaughter Chanel? So he's like, yeah, she doesn't really have much doing, and she wanted a creative outlet. I think she would do perfectly here. She did try to go for the role of Celeste at one point. I think she really killed it, so why not? So speaking of role and killing it, Kate comes over to Leo's room, and Leo is at this point, he's trying to commit Hattie to Bayview. So while he's bringing her out, Kate comes in. Kate is like, what's going on? So she's like, thank God you came in here. So Leo is like saying, we need to get her committed. Marlena is not herself. So Kate is like, Leo, this is not Marlena. This is Marlena's doppelganger, Hattie. So he's like, he's just surprised at this point, like doppelganger. So he just doesn't know. So he's like, no wonder, because you just, the way how you dress and you act, I know Marlena doesn't act like that. So she's like, excuse me. So he's like, I'm sorry for doing all this drastic measures and stuff. And she's like, that's okay. So anyways, Kate offers Leo the position of head writer, and he's excited about that. So she goes on about her way, and then Hattie's still there, and Hattie asks him to look over the script and change up some things for her, right? So we go on to the next scene. So Stephanie runs into her Uncle Roman, right? So she did tell him about getting hired for, Body and Soul, where Kate works, right? So he's excited for her. He's like, I know that it's in good hands. I'm just, I'm a little bit concerned for Kate, because Kate has experience running corporate businesses and all that. So this is all new for her, getting into show business, a little bit crazy. So Stephanie, has no worries about that. She believes that it will be successful. So just to stay tuned to what's to come, right? So we go on to the next thing. So we go back to Chanel in the square, and Alex runs into her, and Alex is like, hey, long time no see and all that. So they catch up, and he's like, I'm over the moon because I got this annulment and from Teresa. And she's like, yeah, I heard about that, so sorry to hear that. I'm happy that, it's annulled and all that. So she's like, she begins to blame him for the reason behind the whole fiasco with the wedding to Teresa. So he's like, how? So she's like, because you don't really think with the head that you have on the top. So you begin to you always seem to get into these kind of situations, especially she brings up something from the past, like the encounter with her and Chanel, her and Ali and him, right, when they had that threesome, right? So he's like, last time I checked, you both wanted this and everything. So she still has a resentment towards him for what went down with him and Ali, sleeping behind her back and, feeling betrayed. But I'm like, Chanel, you're a whole married woman now. You should have feel no type of way towards Alex. I thought you forgave him and moved on. Like, you are married. It doesn't really matter. So while they're arguing and get into it, Johnny and Abe hears a commotion and comes over and like, what is going on? So they're like, nothing. So he's like, it doesn't seem like nothing. So anyways, Abe, he has a light bulb idea, and he's like, these two could definitely be the characters to put in the soap opera. That's what I'm getting from him. So that was it, guys. It was nothing much to it, mostly about the soap opera today, So don't forget to tell me how you feel about the episode today. Comment below your thoughts. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.